Good morning, team. Today is Wednesday, April 8th, 2020. We're continuing in our Unit 8, and today we're going to talk about competition in ecosystems, and we're going to look at some real examples. I'm going to stop really quick. If you have not completed your Hello Morning survey, please pause and go do that now. This is a really important survey that helps us track attendance during distance learning. So if you have not completed your Hello Morning survey, please pause and do that now. Thank you, team. Now we're going to jump into our science and COVID-19 facts of the day. And guess what? There's something I found really interesting yesterday. There is an animal that is tested positive for the coronavirus in the United States. So this is a tiger. Here's the full article. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to jump over there and go through a couple of main points with you. So this is the article. This is a tiger named Nadia. She's a Malayan tiger at the Bronx Zoo in New York, and she has tested positive for the new coronavirus. It's believed to be the first known infection in an animal in the United States. So you can read this whole article if you want to. There are some really interesting things in here, but I wanted to hit on just a couple of questions. First of all, a lot of people are wondering, like, do I need to worry about my cat or my pets? So what these scientists are saying is that tigers are a very different species of cat than domestic pets. And so they're thinking that it is going to be responding, different animals of different species are going to respond differently to the coronavirus. This scientist said it suggests to me that there's probably a lot of differences in how different cat species even respond to the virus. However, it's true that we really don't know. We don't know a lot about it yet, okay? There are some animals in other places of the world who have also tested positive, and you can read those here, but not a lot, okay? And what scientists are saying is basically if you have symptoms of the coronavirus and if you've tested positive, then you should probably have someone else take care of your pets and stay away from them just the same way that you would stay away from your human contacts, okay? And it's really interesting because we're not really sure what all of this means yet, but it does allow us to better understand the virus as a whole, okay? So I thought that this was really interesting that a tiger has coronavirus. Now I want your opinion, okay? I want you to go to this post in Google Classroom and add a comment. What are your thoughts about Nadia testing positive for the coronavirus? For me, I just think it's really interesting that now we're seeing this virus spread into animals. And I'm curious. Now let's jump into today's science lesson, which has to do with competition in ecosystems. Yesterday, we learned about inter and intra-specific competition. A question was, what is interspecific competition and how is it different from intraspecific competition? And here are some standout scholar responses. Interspecific is when more than one species compete for the same resource. Intraspecific is when rivalry occurs between the same members of species. This is from Dyanira. Leslie said, interspecific occurs when members of more than one species compete for the same resource. It's less critical than intraspecific. Intraspecific helps nature keep the population under control. And Carlos said, interspecific competition is when organisms of the same species fight each other. Intraspecific competition is when two different organisms fight for the same resources. Snaps to those scholars. Let's keep those standout scholar responses coming, team. Great job. So today you're going to actually examine true scenarios of competition in ecosystems, and you're going to identify predator-prey relationships, identify biotic-abiotic interactions, identify intra or intraspecific competition, and predict population changes in an ecosystem. So let's review. A predator-prey relationship consists of the interactions between two species and their consequent effects on each other. In the predator-prey relationship, one species is feeding on the other species. The prey species is the animal being fed on, and the predator is the animal being fed. So let's look at an example. Here I have a bear and a salmon. The bear is the predator and the fish is the prey. Now let's check out biotic and abiotic interactions. We're going to watch this quick video.
Abiotic and biotic factors. An ecosystem contains living and non-living things. The ecosystem has many examples of the interaction between the living and the non-living. Living things in an ecosystem are called biotic factors. Living things include plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, and more. The non-living parts of the ecosystem are called abiotic factors. Some non-living things are sun, temperature, water, atmospheric gases, and soil. One example of the interaction between abiotic and biotic factors is with plants. Plants use sunlight, water, and CO2 to make food. Without these things, plants would not be able to grow. Another example is the interaction between turtles and soil. Some turtles are known to bury themselves in the soil. When the temperature becomes too hot, turtles seek protection in the cool underground. Elephants and water interact as well. In order to stay hydrated, elephants drink water. In fact, all biotic factors need water to survive. Fish and temperature also show the interaction between the living and the non-living. A fish's body temperature matches its surroundings. Warm, tropical waters keep the fish's body operating at an optimal temperature. Another example is fox and the snow. When the temperature drops and the snow starts to fall, some foxes grow a white fur coat. The thick coat insulates and keeps the fox warm. Also, the color matches its surroundings, an adaptation known as camouflage. Lastly, bacteria and soil interact. Bacteria are decomposers. Decomposers get energy by recycling dead organisms back into the ground. Nutrients re-enter the soil, making the ground fertile. So take a look out your window and try and identify the interactions between abiotic and biotic factors.
Okay, so a biotic-abiotic interaction occurs when the correct living and non-living factors in an ecosystem combine for an organism's survival. An example is flowers or plants, okay? Sunlight is abiotic, it's not living. Water is abiotic, it's not living. Carbon dioxide is abiotic, and oxygen is abiotic. But all of these things combine to create what's necessary for the plant to grow. Next, we want to look at intra or interspecific competition. This is what we learned about yesterday. Interspecific competition is competition between members of different species. Okay, this would be more than one type of species competing, for example, the same food. Intraspecific competition is competition between members of the same species. Okay, so this is the same species competing for resources. Finally, we want to look at population changes. If the population of an organism decreases, the animals that consume them will either decrease or have to find another food source. Organisms that were consumed by the original organism will see an increase in population. Other predators may increase as well as there's less competition for food. So let's look at this food chain. This is the Chesapeake Bay waterbird food web. If a disease wipes out a lot of the small fish found here, there will likely be a decrease in gulls, wading birds, and these large fish, okay? There may be an increase in zooplankton and phytoplankton as well because that is what the small fish eat, okay? Now we do see that there are other organisms that feed on these also. So these populations may also increase. Today, you're actually going to look at real, true scenarios from the wild, and you're going to answer these questions. So let's do an example together. Before we watch the video, let's look at the questions that you're going to be answering. Number 1, name biotic and abiotic factors in the video. Describe one biotic-abiotic interaction. Number 2, in this scenario, which organism is the predator and which is the prey? Question number 3 is, who were the bears competing with for the fish? Is this intra or interspecific competition? And then number 4, what would happen if the bears were eliminated from this ecosystem? How will it affect the fish? So let's take a look at our video.
This is going to be the end of the road for a lot of salmon. These bears are really hungry. They haven't tasted salmon for 10 months, and the big males battle for the best fishing spots. The longer the salmon take over their journey upstream, the weaker they become. And these falls present them with their biggest challenge yet. Although the falls aren't very tall, the bears hold the high ground. The salmon make short, exploratory leaps to see where the bears are. But they don't always get it right. This mother bear has been waiting months for this moment. Competition is fierce for these first salmon, even between a mother and her own cubs. More and more fish arrive at the foot of the falls. Eventually, they have to go for it, regardless of the danger. But numbers are on their side. For every salmon that gets caught, hundreds make it past the bears.
Okay, now let's go to our questions. Question 1, name biotic, which are living, and abiotic factors in the video. Describe one biotic-abiotic interaction. So I'm going to give you a second to think about that. What are some biotic or living factors and abiotic factors in the video? If you said bears, salmon, and trees, then you are correct. Biotic factors in the video include the bear, salmon, and trees. Abiotic factors include the weather, season, and the water. One biotic-abiotic interaction in the video is the flow of the river. That creates the scenario where the bear meet an abundance of fish. Question number 2. In this scenario, which organism is the predator and which is the prey? You guys should all get this one right. I'm going to give you a second to think about that. I know you got it. The predator is the bear and the prey is the salmon. Great job, team. Question 3. Who are the bears competing with for the fish? Is this intra or interspecific competition? Who are the bears competing with for the fish? You got it. The bears are competing with each other, with other bears for the fish. So this will be intraspecific competition because it's within the same species. Next, what would happen if the bears were eliminated from this ecosystem? How will it affect the fish? If the bears were eliminated, there would be an increase in salmon that survive the pass and possible overpopulation. Now, when I say go, you will complete the remaining scenarios on your own using complete sentences. You have a crocodile wildebeest, cheetah ostrich, penguin petrel, and baby sea turtles. When you have watched all of the videos and answered all of the questions, you're going to click Turn In Google Classroom. Of course, if you have any questions, here's my email address and my phone number. I look forward to tomorrow's lesson with you, team, and I miss you so much. Go.